Everything was going perfect. I never thought that things could be so perfect and so right and then go so horribly wrong. I legit thought, I'm gonna die. Say hi. Hi. Did you wave? Hey guys, I'm Sheena of the Walters family, and we just had our third baby. Her name is Lyra, and I'm here to tell you about my postpartum story. She was a vaginal delivery, no pregnancy complications at all, no childbirth complications until this. Everything was going perfect. I went to bed on Tuesday and everything was fine, and then at 4 o'clock in the morning, everything changed. So I was laying there in bed and I had just fed her. It was like 3:30 when I fed her, and then around 4 I felt like I was suddenly going to the bathroom, like peeing basically. Thought I was going nonstop and I couldn't stop it. It was weird. I was like trying to hold it together, but I just couldn't get it to stop. So I like rushed to the bathroom. I'm still holding Lyra because, you know, the moms, we just hold our baby while we do everything. So I'm holding her in my hand and I go to the bathroom, and it's a nightmare in the bathroom. It's not pee, what I was seeing. It was a horror scene in there. Lots of clots. It was very apparent that I was having a postpartum hemorrhage. I ran back into the bedroom. I was frantic. And you know me, I'm not a very emotional person. I don't freak out about anything. If you saw my pregnancy video, I was like not allowing myself to get excited. I'm a pretty even-keeled type of person. But I was scared at that moment. I came back in here and I'm like, honey, woke him up. I'm like, honey, I think I'm having a postpartum hemorrhage. I need to go to the hospital. And I'm just thinking about like, oh, I've got the kids here. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. Who's gonna watch everybody? Am I gonna be able to bring Lyra? Am I gonna survive? Like, all these questions are running through my head. So I get in the car and I call my doctor. It's not good for me to be driving. So he drove me. He took Luki and Arya, put them both in the car, put Lyra in the car. We were off to the hospital. And on my way to the hospital, of course, I'm looking up postpartum hemorrhage. That's what it sounds like it is. And how it's like the #1 cause of death after childbirth. So that freaked me out. It's rare, but a person dies from a postpartum hemorrhage apparently every like 4 to 6 minutes. So that's terrifying. So I'm reading this, and I stopped reading stuff in the car because I'm like, I can't. This isn't helping me. I did read that it's very treatable, so that did help me. I'm hobbling into the hospital, holding myself. I'm not feeling any pain at all. Like, it just feels like I'm peeing constantly. But I have no stomach pain, no headache, no fever, nothing. It could be my adrenaline that's causing that, but I just feel nothing except for like panic and confusion as to what the heck is going on. And I go up to the front desk and I just say, I think I'm having a postpartum hemorrhage. They get me in a wheelchair and they put me back into the emergency evaluation. And they say, like, if you're filling pads at least 1 to 2 an hour, then you're having a postpartum hemorrhage. I got to the hospital at like 4:30 and I had gone through like 3 already. It was like a pool and I was losing a lot of blood. They ended up getting me an ultrasound. So they did an ultrasound of my stomach and they did a transvaginal ultrasound, which is when they have to go inside. And I was like, are you sure you want to do that right now? But they did. The ultrasound found that yes, I was having a hemorrhage. There was like 5 inches of lining still in my uterus that hadn't come out. And when they did the transvaginal ultrasound, I think I terrified the nurse that was in there. It was a very messy process, but they got the information they needed. So I started to feel some pain after the ultrasounds, especially the transvaginal ultrasound. I started to feel contractions. The OB was coming in and talking about how much blood I lost. She said she's not sure how much I lost, but it was a lot, and it was very abnormal that I was losing so much blood. He said my uterus was failing to contract, which is a cause of the postpartum hemorrhage. So they gave me Cytotec, and not just a little quarter of a pill like I had in my labor, but they gave me 5 Cytotec, and they shoved them right up my bum. And that's supposed to help stop the bleeding. I also got this other thing that started with an M in my IV, and I had another IV of just fluid because they were concerned my color was changing and I was losing a lot of blood. So I had those 2 IVs, and I had the Cytotec all working really hard to stop the bleeding. Bleeding wasn't super stopping. So we went ahead and did the DNC. I've never had a surgery before. The only surgery I've ever had, was my eyes. I had LASIK, and I was awake for that, and it took like 8 minutes. This is very different. I was getting this thing called a DNC. That's what it is right there. DNC. Apparently my mom had one of these too, and that is where they go inside the uterus and take out all the excess that's in there, and hopefully the bleeding stops. If that doesn't work, they have a couple of more procedures to do, and then if those don't work, then they can do a hysterectomy, and that will stop the bleeding, of course, because you won't have the organs there. My mom had a DNC after she had me, and had a hysterectomy too. I found that out that day. The day that I was in the hospital. I'm like, Mom, what the heck? Why did I not know about this? Like, I knew she had a hysterectomy, but I didn't know it was like soon after I was born. So Matt ended up going back to the house so they can get some more sleep before they had to leave and go to Matt's parents' house. So when Matt came back to the hospital, he was such a trooper. He was super worried about everything, of course. I mean, like, I just had a 3rd child, and he's probably thinking like, oh, what if she's not okay? How am I going to do all of this? And the love of his life. So, I mean, naturally, it's a pretty scary process. He came back after I got my ultrasounds, and I go into the OR prep with Matt, and I'm freaking out. You know, I keep crying, thinking about Lyra. This is the longest I've ever been without her. This process is just so cruel because it like pulls you away from your baby, and every moment I'm not with her, I'm losing it. I'm losing it completely, because I feel like she was like attached to me for so long, and then to have her not with me, it was just heartbreaking. So I'm all prepped for the OR. They don't have to cut you for this procedure. They just go right in vaginally, and they go open the cervix, and then they get everything out through there. So luckily I didn't have to get cut or anything, but I did get to go under. It happened so fast. When I was going under, I could feel myself like closing my eyes, and I was like, oh, bye-bye. And I was like, oh, shoot, well, I don't want those to be the last words I hear. So then I said, see you later. And then I was waking up after the OR. This procedure is supposed to take half an hour to 45 minutes usually. Apparently I was in there for like 2 hours, and I had lost 2 liters of blood during that process and had to get a blood transfusion. Matt's telling me about this, and he's like majorly freaked out because he heard the DNC didn't work, and they needed to use a second procedure, which was called the Jada device, but the Jada device ended up working. So that contracts the uterus down, and it helps stop the bleeding, so it was awesome. Overall, the DNC plus the Jada device was successful. I woke up, I had no pain. That was great. They kept taking my blood to check my blood to see how much blood I had. They took like all these vials of blood to tell me that my blood levels were going down. So I think I got the surgery at like 11:40 or something like that, and I was out by like 1:40 p.m. We called the kids, which was really great. And when I saw them, I just broke down. Like, it was so hard being away from them. I had to take the phone. I didn't want them to see me crying, but I don't know, as a mom, you just feel so helpless when you're not with your kids, and especially Lyra. I just felt like she really needs her mommy, and I'm not able to be there. I know my body is healing, and it was a very traumatic experience, but at the same time, I did have a little bit of mom guilt, where I was just like, I really want my babies, and I feel like I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing as a mom. That's probably what got me into this trouble anyway. I need to give myself some grace, give myself a break, and accept my village's help. And thank God we have a village as big as we do, of people that can help us out. Because I really needed them then. And even though I was really sad that I wasn't with my kids, I was very grateful that I did have time to heal. So both of those things can coexist. It's fine. So they monitored me after the blood transfusion, because apparently after a blood transfusion you can have a negative reaction. They kept, checking my vitals every few hours. It was in the middle of the night again, probably like 3-ish in the morning. They checked my blood again. They took some blood to check it, and they were like, your blood levels are really low. So they waited another hour. They took it again, and they were still low. My hemoglobin levels were like around 6.6, I believe, and so they needed to do another transfusion. I got 2 units more of blood that they put in through the IV, and that took forever to get into my system. It was hours. I hate IVs because they kind of sting at the site. I'm just not, and I can't move my arm a lot. If you ever get an IV, get it in the arm that is not your dominant hand, because moving my arm around trying to eat food and like do stuff, it was moving and it was annoying, and it kept like stopping the blood transfusion. So get it in the hand that you don't use that much, in the arm that you don't use that much. My blood levels did go up to like over 8, I believe it was like 8.9 or something like that. And they ended up discharging me at like 11 in the morning. So I was free to go home. Absolutely traumatized by this entire process. I have PTSD. The next few times of going to the bathroom, I am panicked, especially going to the bathroom at my house, because the last time I was in there, I thought I was dying. And it was so unpredictable. There were no signs of it. I just felt like, who's to say it won't happen again? Plus, I wasn't really given like recovery information. I don't know what to do to recover from a postpartum hemorrhage / blood transfusion. And what I gathered is just to rest a lot. Don't get up. Let everybody do everything for you. Thursday afternoons when I got home. I spent the whole day in the bed yesterday, practically. Occasionally I will go out to the living room to sit in the big easy chair. But mostly it's just me and Lyra in here. I was nervous about breastfeeding still, because I had her on the bottle for 2 days, because I was gone. And I was like, oh, she's gonna forget. She's only 2 weeks old. But as soon as I got her back, she just hopped right back on the boob. So I know that she is loving the nursing, which is good, because as long as I'm able to do that for her, I will. I want to take it easy on my body and make sure that I'm eating and drinking. People do not forget that pregnancy and childbirth are big, like, body traumatic experiences, and you can't get up and do everything you were before. Even if you do feel like you have more responsibilities, you do, but your number one responsibility is to rest and take care of yourself, so you don't, do anything too crazy. So comment below if you have any thoughts or questions about anything like that, and hopefully I can answer them for you. If you've ever had something like this happen, rest up, mamas who are about to deliver. Do not feel pressured to do anything you feel like you need to do. Don't rush to get back into your life. Just enjoy this process. This girl is like the chillest baby ever. I can't believe she just sat here. She's great. All right. Well, thank you guys for listening to my story. It was kind of crazy. Hopefully it wasn't too TMI, but you know, pregnancy, childbirth, it's TMI. There's a lot of blood. Yeah. And I will see you guys in the next one. I'm going to do an update just about what it's like to have a newborn. Again, it's mostly just a lot of this. And I love every single second of it. And a lot of that. Alrighty, love you guys. Thanks for listening. And I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe. Peace. Bye-bye.